the athletes prepare to play tonight's contest, I'll take a moment to remind you that
Bel Air versus John Carroll. They played last year, the first time in a decade, and now this renewal of this classic. Two schools located not more than a mile apart.
It's fantastic. Anytime you can put together a rivalry like this and then do it for the entire weekend in all sports, just a fantastic thing between the two schools.
Last year, the first game that they had played for many, many years, John Carroll won the ball game against Bel Air. So the Bobcats looking, of course, obviously to avenge that loss. They score points, Bob, for each team that wins this weekend, and there is the Battle of Bel Air Cup that's awarded to the team that wins the most athletic events during this weekend.
Yes, I remember a couple years ago we were here for the John Carroll Bel Air soccer game.
Yes, we were.
For that weekend. And so now we have the football game, and this is really exciting.
Well, John Carroll comes in with a 2-0 record. Ken Brinkman, their new coach. Hard to call Ken Brinkman a new coach because he's been at it for 25 years. His first year at John Carroll. 33-26, the squeaker over Century. They pummeled Maryland Freedom last week 35-0, so they come in with that 2-0 record. Chimsi Chukwu, their leading ball carrier, 9.9 yards per carry. He's piled up 296 yards in just 2 games and 4 TDs. Now, John Carroll does alternate their quarterbacks, Bob. They have a senior, Will Gianelli, and a sophomore, Scott Smith. They'll both see time. Their pair have combined for 3 TD tosses, although Smith has been picked off 3 times. Now their sophomore wideout, Bob, Roman Henby, has just 2 catches, but 1 went for 80 yards and a touchdown. And don't forget also the coach's son, Austin Brinkman. He is one of the wideouts on this team, 6'4", 190 pounds now.
Wow.
At offensive and defensive lines, Bob, they've got 6'8", 305-pound Ben Blessing, who's bound for Holy Cross next year, plus another 300-pounder. So they have a lot of size on that offensive line.
It looks like the average is, what, 260 pounds?
At least, yeah.
You know, big offensive line. It's going to be interesting. You know, you can say you throw records out and everything, and that may be true because both of these teams play in different leagues and different types of competition. But you know, last year's game set the tone. And you know, is John Carroll going to be the dominating force a couple years in a row now, or Bel Air ready to come back on their home field and change some things around?
And Bob, this game does count for points. In other words, to reach the playoffs, Bel Air has to have a win here tonight to get points leading to that playoff. For John Carroll, not so much, as they're in the MIAA-B conference. They start their conference next week. But again, as you said, throwing the records out, this game is more than just a game. It is the Battle of Bel Air. It is sold out. John Carroll fans on their feet, Bel Air fans on their feet. Thank goodness they're separated, the students are, by a bunch of adults in the middle.
I don't know. Students pretty much take care of themselves pretty well these days. You know, they know each other. It's, you know, like you said, it's tremendous rivalry. The John Carroll fans come from all over Harford County and other places.
Yep.
You know, so.
Well, we talked about John Carroll's record. Look at Bel Air. Bel Air's 1-1, we think, Bob, and I say think because their first game against Overly was stopped about halfway of the second period. They've not been able to resume that game. Bel Air was leading 13-0, so the assumption is that they'll be granted a forfeit for that first game. Again, because of those points he bowled up for the playoffs, that's very important. They lost to C.H. Flowers last week, 20-13. Senior quarterback Austin Wolfing, he returns as a starter. The big guy is Hunter Roos, coming off a 1,000-yard season for the Bel Air Bobcats, and so he's looking to play upon that. Just about ready to get underway. John Carroll will be kicking off. They're in the white visiting uniforms. Bel Air Bobcats in the all blue. Bel Air going from right to left across your TV screen. There you see the John Carroll fans. The Bel Air fans were shouting overrated when John Carroll came in earlier, so we'll see. The Patriots getting ready to kick it off. It'll be Tyler Rosso who will kick the ball off. He meets it down to the near side of the field. It's going to go into the end zone. It'll be taken out to the 20-yard line. That's where the Bobcats will take over 1st and 10 as they'll put the ball in play again, going from right to left.
Okay, we're getting ready here for the John Carroll Patriots to come out in their defense. Looks like they're starting number 64, Ben Blessing, number 56, Connor Boyle, 51, C.K. Oduchik, 25, Caleb Adabong, 15, Hunter Tipton, 50, Darius Lloyd, 13, Jacob Osborne. 44, Isaac Myers. 3, Roman Hemby. Number 5, Jalen Bryant. And number 2, Malik Scott.
I am so proud of you on that pronouncing. I've been practicing for the entire time. You did better than I did. Meantime, the Bobcats, they'll start with, we said, Rolfing at quarterback, Sincere Montgomery and Hunter Ruse in the backfield. It's Jake Rolicut, Tommy Wilkins, Andrew Yingling, Justin O'Bannon, and Jarrett Stingle across that front line as the first play right in the middle, gaining very little on first down. Yeah, fumble, but they are able to recover the ball, the Bobcats were. That would have been a disaster on the first play of the game. Just underway here is obviously no score. Yeah, Hunter Ruse is, again, that big ball carrier, 5'10", 178 pounds. 1,022 yards last year as a junior. Also plays basketball and baseball. He's picked up 203 yards in those 2 games, or we should say 1 game in the abbreviated first game, averaging over 8, almost 9 yards per carry. 18 points, he scored 3 times. Second down, 10 yards to go. The ball still at the 20-yard line. Inside handoff. That's Ruse again. Shakes 1 tackle, but unable to get by the second tackle. Looks like Darius Lloyd making the tackle.
Looked like he lost a yard or so on that play. So it looks like it's now about 3rd and a long 11.
Yeah, 3rd and 12 they say on the board. So big play coming up for Rolfing. Now Rolfing hasn't thrown a lot, only 10 times this year. Completed 3 passes. He's got a touchdown and an interception. Second-year starter is Rolfing, and he's a baseball pitcher during the springtime. Also, Bob, an avid fisherman.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Too much patience for me, Bob. I can't do that thing.
No. Well, Bel Air's running a spread offense now with a quarterback and a lone back in the backfield.
Long pass down the middle. He's got a man. It's going to be overthrown, though, and incomplete.
That was nice coverage on the John Carroll part.
Yeah, it looked like he was double teamed coming down there.
Yeah, Roman Hemby on the coverage along with number 25, Caleb Adabong.
The ball incomplete. That'll bring up a punting situation, so 3 and out for the Bel Air Bobcats as they'll send back their punter. Darius Ashman is the punter. Darius averaging only 26 yards a punt, punted 3 times so far this year. Chance for John Carroll to get good field position starting out. Bit of that running kick. Gets a good bounce. It's going to go into John Carroll territory. Down all to the 30 and inside the 30, down to about the 25. That's about a 60-yard punt.
Well, it started on the 19-yard line, and it looks like it's finished up on the 26-yard line of John Carroll.
So that's 31 plus, who knows? Let's say 60 yards. Can never figure that out. Brad, they ought to have like, you have to go to 50, the 60, the 70, and then it'll be easy. Doesn't work that way. Well, here comes John Carroll now out on offense. Patriots again 2-0 on the year. In the B conference of the MIAA. Will Gianelli, the starting quarterback, he's the senior in the shotgun formation.
Yeah, 1 backfield.
And that's Chinzu Chuku.
Little wide outs, and he handed the ball to the
Chuko is going to be hit in the backfield and knocked down.
It looks like he loses 4 on the play.
Looked like that was Austin Hess coming from his linebacker position to make the tackle. Loss of about 4, 2nd down and about 14 to go. Patriots started at their own 25-yard line. Back now to the 21. And what the holdup is. Now the official marks the ball ready to play. Clark, Lloyd, Ray, Howe, and Blessing across that front line for the Patriots. Rolling this way. Looking to pass. Gets the pass off. It's going to be overthrown and incomplete. That was Gianelli. Gianelli, the senior, 5'11", 175-pounder. 4 for 7 coming in, 45 yards and a touchdown. He's also a runner, Bob. 6 carries, 44 yards, 7.3.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, he has the Bel Air defense spread, you know, because he's spread, they're spread. You know, he's just looked so far. He handed the ball off and he looked to throw the ball in that play for sure. And now that he has 3rd and 14, it's.
Yeah, neither offense able to do much so far. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first period. Gianelli without a fake. Ball is hit in the air. It's going to fall incomplete, and that will bring up a 4th down. Fortunate it was Gianelli because a lineman came in and knocked that ball up in the air. It looked like he hit his arm as he threw the ball.
Threw the ball pretty far for his arm to be hit, I'll tell you that.
Looked like that may have been Davon Bomar, number 48, who came in and disrupted that pass play. So again, 3 and out for John Carroll, just like Bel Air 3 and out.
Sincere Montgomery is back for Bel Air, along with, hard to see that other number on the other side.
Dominic Burnt in to punt the ball away. 35-yard average. Burnt hits it off the side of his foot. Coming down at the 40-yard line and out of bounds at about the 42, the Bel Air 42. That's where the Bobcats will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 42.
So in each of their first series, it looks like the Bobcats now are about 20 yards further than they were when they started their first series.
Yeah, that punt that hit on about the midfield or 45-yard line and rolled all the way down to the 20. That was a big break for Bel Air.
It was. Change the field position here.
Well, here come the Bobcats. Austin Wolfing in again at the quarterback. Jake Rolicut, Tommy Wilkins, Andrew Yingling, Justin O'Bannon, and Jarrett Stencil, the front line. Ted Zaborowski is the tight end. Cade Ketchum, the split end. Ruse and Montgomery in the backfield. This time they've got 3 men in the backfield. The turn to give inside. Running, good yardage. That's Ruse. Ruse, 1 man to beat. Tackled at the 36-yard line of John Carroll.
Excellent run. From right off the inside left guard and popped a big hole.
Tommy Wilkins, Andrew Yingling gave them credit for the blocking. That's exactly what Dave Urick said, that Ruse is quicker than you think. 1st down and 10 in John Carroll territory. Ball at the 36, 37-yard line. That's Ruse again, off right tackle. Hit and drags the tackler down inside the 35-yard line to about the 32.
John Carroll's playing five-man defensive front at times, a 4-man defensive front in passing situation, and they're moving one of their safeties around like an old monster back that they used to call him.
Patriots call a timeout. I think Coach Brinkman didn't like what he was seeing on defense, so he called a timeout right here.
Ruse is on the ground right here, Don. I'm hoping that everything is okay.
Yeah, that would be a huge, obviously, loss for the Bel Air Bobcats. They're due everything Hunter Ruse. Looks like it's an ankle injury or a leg injury of some kind.
Yeah, I don't know whether he just cramped up or whether he twisted something. So there's a timeout now, officials timeout on the field right now for the injury.
Bob, we always say it when the trainers come out. You and I go back to a day when there weren't trainers in Harford County, and it is such a comforting thing to see a trainer being able to come out, a medical expert, somebody who knows what they're doing to take care of any injury that occurs.
There's not enough money to pay them for what they do for high school students being out there just to
Ruse is
to
up
help
under
out.
his own power, but you can see he's limping badly. It looks like on that left ankle.
Yeah, it is.
Can't tell exactly where the injury occurred, but it appeared that he was stretching for more yardage and in the grasp of the tackler, and down he went.
You don't know what happened. He may have hyperextended something, twisted something. It's hard to tell from up here, but he is limping, and we'll see what the trainer's going to do with him and how quick that comes back. And let's find out who Bel Air is going to put in the backfield to take his place.
Sincere Montgomery is the other running back who normally runs for the Bobcats, number 21.
Well, he's in there now.
Looks like they also have number 7, and that's Jalen Reeves. Jalen is a junior, 6 foot, 192 pounder. Wolfing is under center. Full house backfield behind him. 2nd down and 7. So all of a sudden the Bel Air Bobcats fans have gone silent.
This is the old, way back in the days of Al Seske's offense right there.
The hand going around this side, that was Reeves again. Following the student body left.
The old Woody Hayes, Ohio State's, and Al Seske at Bel Air ran that for years successfully.
That was Marquez Kimbrough, not Reeves running the ball. Be close to a 1st down, 3rd down and about a yard. Big down here for the Bobcats. Try to keep this drive alive. Coming up on the 8-minute mark in the first period. No score, as you can see. Bobcats had it, punted away. John Carroll had it, punted away.
John Carroll's playing 5-3-3 on defense right now. It looks like they're bringing the middle linebacker here.
Jumped offside, yeah. Hard count there by Rolfing. That's going to cost them and give them a first down, the Bobcats.
I don't know if it's going to be interesting. I want to see if Bel Air may have moved first.
Officials talking it over. It looked like John Carroll broke the plane.
There it is. It's against John Carroll.
Yeah, that's a big penalty. So instead of 3rd and 1, now it's 1st and 10. Rolfing gets the play back in the huddle. Dave Urick from Sparrows Point originally came here to Bel Air 9 years ago, building a great program at the Bobcat facility.
Bel Air's back in their full house backfield again. They handed the fullback.
That's a young man just in the ball game.
Yeah.
That's Jalen Reeves. Jalen cuts it back inside, short yardage. 4-play drive started back on the 42-yard line of the Bel Air Bobcats.
Isaac Myers and Blessing on the tackle for John Carroll.
Then Blessing, 6'8", 305, headed for Holy Cross next year. Has 1 tackle for loss, a fumble recoveries, 9 total tackles in the first 2 games for the John Carroll Patriots. 6'8", 305, Bob.
Bel Air's going trips out to the right here with their 1 back.
And this time Rolfing's back in the shotgun formation. Hands off. That's Reeves again. When they hit and held down near the 20-yard line, flag goes down.
Yeah.
Jalen Reeves hit and held. Not sure what the flag was about. Let's let the officials confer. It looks like the Patriots are happy. That could be a hold penalty.
Darius Lloyd and Ben Blessing on the tackle.
Darius Lloyd, 6 foot, 220-pounder, 12 tackles on the season so far. One of the 3 inside linebackers that John Carroll deploys. Big penalty against the Bobcats. He'll back them up 10 yards. Get down inside the 15-yard line for about the 14 for a first down. Ball resting at the 31. See what the Bobcats come up with here. Just 1 back along with Rolfing. That's Reeves.
Should be 2nd down and about 16.
Well, they got 3rd on the scoreboard, but it should be 2nd. Looking, throwing. Has a man. It's going to be complete. Short gain down to the 30. And looks like tight end Zaborowski making the catch.
It's a nice throw and a nice catch, and it's a, it took care of about half of the distance now, so it's about 7 yards, about 3rd and 7 now.
Well, they've got 4th down listed on the scoreboard. But I agree with you. I thought the down was eliminated when they took the penalty.
It's 3rd and about still 16. It looks like there was no gain on that play.
Yeah, now they've put down 3rd on the scoreboard, so it is indeed 3rd and 15. You don't have Justin Tucker out there, Bob, so you're not going to kick a 50-yard field goal. So we've got to go for the first down here. 3rd down and 15. Bob, if they can pick up half of it here, that's probably what they want to do.
Well, yeah. You want to get as much as you can because you're in 4-down territory now.
Rolfing, being rushed, holds the ball, throws the ball. It's going to be overthrown into the end zone, incomplete. Well, nice job of that Bel Air offensive line being able to hold out the John Carroll rushers, giving Rolfing time to throw the ball.
That was great. I mean, all he did was step up into the pocket and he was clean. Overthrew the ball a little bit.
So bring up 4th down. 4th down and still 15. The ball at the 30-yard line.
Now the question is, do you punt the ball and try to get them inside the 10, start them inside the 10, see if you can stop them in there and get the ball back close and inside your 50-yard line? Or looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, you figure if they punt the ball and punt in the end zone, they're going to come out to the 20, which would be just a 10-yard gain. So it looks like with nothing much to lose here, the Bobcats are going for it because they are deep in John Carroll territory. So if the Patriots do take the ball, they will have a 70-yard field to administer. 5 minutes, 22 seconds, no score as you can see in the game. Rolfing, back to throw, rolling, gets it off. He's hit as he throws, incomplete. Looked like a 44.
Yes.
And that's Isaac Myers who put the pressure on Rolfing. Incomplete as the pass. So the 7-play drive stalls at the 30-yard line, and John Carroll will take over on downs. But Bob, if we expected a high-scoring game, we're not seeing it so far.
No, both teams have been very, very good defensively to this point. Bel Air's had the one big run.
And we just saw Ruse take his jersey off and give it a fling. You know that he is very, very disappointed. It looks like he may be
yeah, I think he's done for the
he may be
evening.
done for the game. And of course, what a blow that is for the Bel Air Bobcats, their senior leader.
Yeah,
Gianelli in at quarterback, gives it off, no gain. Good job of that Bel Air defense. David Bomar, Jake Rollicott, Justin O'Brien across that middle of the front line for the Bel Air Bobcats. There you see Ruse, and that is a picture, Bob, of dejection as you see on the screen here.
I mean, it's killing them. This is the game, one of the games that that the kids love. They just live for. And you can't play. You get hurt and you're done early in the football game. Very, very difficult to live with.
Especially, Bob, in your senior year, and who knows how serious the injury is and how long he'd be out, but what a blow that would be to the Bel Air Bobcats to lose their do-everything running back. Will Gianelli still in at quarterback, all by himself, one runner on the near side. Gianelli rolling this way, gets it off. It's going to be complete, and out of bounds he goes at the 35, short of the first down. Pass complete to number 3, Roman Hemby. Hemby, the sophomore. Hemby, the young man who had that 80-yard touchdown pass earlier in the season. They'll bring up third down, third and just about 5. They're going to get up to the 40. They're at the 35. 3:57 and counting left in this first period. No score, as you see. Neither team really threatened that much. The Bobcats did get inside the 30 before a holding penalty backed them up.
And we have Trip right out here.
Yeah. And in motion is Hemby. Hemby's going to get the ball. Flag goes down. Nope, that was a fake. The quarterback, Gianelli, keeps the ball close to a first down. Let's see what the flag is all about.
He's about a half a yard short of the first down.
If it's against John Carroll, then it'll be a big yeah. It's an
illegal procedure call.
It is that, yeah. So now the Bobcats have a choice. Do they want to take the penalty, which would leave it at third down, third and about 6, or third and 10 actually, or do they want to take the down and make it 4th and 1?
Yeah, I think you take them back here.
That's what they're going to do. So back it up to the 30-yard line and leave them about 10 yards for the first down.
Yeah, neither team has been really moving the football.
Let's see what the Patriots come up with now in their own territory at the 30. Gianelli has gone all the way at quarterback. Remember we said Scott Smith, the sophomore, alternates with Gianelli, so we expect to see Smith at some point in the game.
Haven't seen him yet.
And here we go now, third down and 10. Back to throw without a fake, being rushed, gets it off. It's going to be caught on the screen pass, beautifully done. And he's going to pick up the first down, I think. Close to the first down.
See, that was a very, very well executed screen pass.
Chimzi Chukwu is the young man who caught the ball. Boy, great job by Gianelli. He waited until the linemen were right on top of him, took a hit, got rid of the ball, hit Chukwu, and Chukwu, I think, picked up the first down. He did. First down and 10.
Well, now we have your change of quarterback, Don.
Scott Smith, the sophomore, 6'2", 160-pounder in. Three minutes and 30 seconds and counting left in the first period. John Carroll with that big first down.
Well, we have Trip Wrights out here. Handoff in the middle.
Yep, not much happening there. Good job by the Bobcats closing in. Looked like Devon Bomar. and Jake Rolicut in the middle of that line.
Yeah.
Gain of about 1. 4-play drive started on the 30. That big third down screen pass that picked up 10 yards for the first down.
You know, Bel Air has 3 down linemen, and they have 2 other people that either come up as defensive ends on the line or they get wide and get out. And so they show anything from a 3-man front to a 5-man front.
Second down, 9 yards to go. Smith tosses it to Chuku. Chuku coming this way, hemmed in, and down he'll go.
Oh,
nice gang tackle.
It was.
Good
Bel
job
Air did a
coming in
very
there.
nice job of setting the edge on that, not letting him get outside.
That's Davon Bomar again. 6'3", 245-pound senior.
Number 15, Noah Byers, was also, he set the edge and didn't let him get outside.
This Bomar has a lot of offers from 1AA schools, Bob, and he's got the size, 6'3", 245, that could really play well at that level of college football. Clock running at 1:50.
You know, the thing is, when you look at him, he doesn't look that big, but he's just built and very, very solid.
Third down and 8 yards
now
to
they
go.
got the 3-man front. He's playing the right defensive end in this front right now.
Gianelli back in the game. No, that's Smith. Smith throwing on the run. He's got a man. It's going to be complete. Touchdown, John Carroll. What a pass moving to his left. Smith threw the ball right on the money. It looks like Hemby. That was that's Hemby who made the catch. Boy, it was, Bob. He's rolling to his left. Threw the ball on the run. Didn't even set his feet.
Bel Air back, didn't think he could throw it that far, and was cutting in front of the John Carroll player, thinking he was going to get an interception, and the ball was way over his head for the 6.
And that may have been number 2 rather than number 3. Let's see if we can determine at some point who got that touchdown pass catch. And to attempt the extra point.
Yeah, I think it was number 2. I think it was Malik Scott.
Malik Scott. 60-yard touchdown pass from Smith to Scott. Kick is up.
Good.
And that kick is good. Kick by number 44, Isaac Myers. So a 60-yard TD pass from Smith to Malik Scott.
Now you see why the sophomore gets to play a bit.
I tell you what, that was a great arm, Bob. When you're rolling to your left as a right-handed quarterback, he didn't even set his feet. He just simply squared those shoulders and fired the ball. Hit Scott on the run. Scott never had to slow down, took the ball, went in for the touchdown.
No, that was about a 45-yard pass in the air. And going to his weak side. That's a very, very difficult pass to throw.
Yeah, it was a 50-yarder, but as you said, he threw it from behind the line of scrimmage from about his own 45. So John Carroll breaks on top now by 7-0 in that big play by the substitute quarterback, or a young man who alternates. This the sophomore, Scott Smith. So now the Bobcats have to come back, Bob, and without Ruse, it's going to be a tall order.
Well, they're a running football team. Now they're only down a touchdown. If they can still run the football and score, you're back even. If not, and if they get in a place where they have to start throwing the football, then it's going to be much more difficult, I think, for Bel Air.
Going out of bounds. Flag will go down. They'll get the ball on the 40-yard line. There you see the John Carroll fans, and they are happy. Didn't have to come too far, Bob. Just about, a mile?
Yeah, well, it depends on where you live.
Well, that's a good point. They haven't sat down yet, the John Carroll fans, nor have the Bel Air fans, as we look to our right to see them.
It's been a very good football game in this first quarter.
Yeah.
Defensively, they've really been banging on each other, and then all of a sudden there was one great play, and it's 7-0.
Malik Scott just ran right by his defensive. And I think you're right, Bob. I believe the defensive back said there's no way that he can throw the ball that far moving to his left.
Well, I saw him just start to sneak a little bit in front of him, and as he was running, and then all of a sudden there was separation, and then the ball just went calmly over his head, and I think he could have thrown the ball a little bit further if he had to.
So on the 35-yard line, the Bel Air Bobcats will take over. Good field position as they start 1st and 10 from that 35. Handoff inside.
Well, they opened up a nice hole right there.
Kimbrough, Jake Rollicutt, Tommy Wilkins, Andrew Yingling, Justin O'Bannon, and Jared Stencil, the front line for the Bel Air Bobcats, opening that hole. Minute 19 left in this first period and counting.
Yeah, Jalen Bryant on the carry. You know, he looked good going inside, but nice hole.
Pickup of about 5, maybe 6 on 1st down. Second and a long 5, a long 4, I should say. Wolfing back in that shotgun formation. Hands it off again.
Same hole.
Big hit,
First
but not
down.
until he's got the 1st down. Yeah, that's Roman Hemby who made the hit, but not until Kimbrough picks up the 1st down.
Yeah.
1st down at the 46-yard line. Inside a minute left in the first period.
It's like Malik Scott came up on that hit after scoring the touchdown.
Hand up the middle. It's Reeves spinning for yardage. Picks up about a yard maybe.
Maybe
2 or 3 actually.
Yeah, maybe 4.
Good job by Reeves. Now this young man is the guy who's in replacing Hunter Roos. Jalen Reeves, junior, 6 foot, 192 pounds. Austin Rolfing, the quarterback for the Bel Air Bobcats. 5 seconds, 4 and 3. He may not get off this play here as they come down to the end of the first period, and that is the end of the first period.
Well, John Carroll's made a little adjustment. They changed their line. It looked like it was getting ready to be a 6-2. Trying to shut off some of that running game by putting an extra defensive player up front.
Well, as we think about John Carroll and Bel Air, we go back to 1969, what they call the greatest game ever played in Harford County football history, and I believe that to be true. Final 34-27, Bel Air won it. They had a sophomore quarterback by the name of Jeff Grants, who went on to make fame at South Carolina as a 3-time All-American. And the quarterback for John Carroll was Al Neville, who went to Maryland and was the leading ACC passer as a sophomore. So it was a battle, not only that was a great game, 34-27 back and forth, but a battle with 2 great teams with probably, arguably, the 2 best quarterbacks ever to play in this county against one another. 34-27, the Bobcats trailed by 10 points late in the game. They came back and scored the points that would end up winning it. John Carroll driving for what looked like the tying or maybe winning touchdown, and an interception late in the ball game, the only interception of the game.
What was interesting about that back then, Don, was John Carroll wasn't a very old school at the time.
5 years old, yeah.
Yeah, and and Al Neville, and we all know Al's father back then, who did a lot with high school athletics. Like you said, he was a great quarterback. And Jeff Grants was a great quarterback for Bel Air, but Bel Air had been an incredibly solid football program up to that point.
Yep.
They used to play Salesianum out of Delaware and Bethlehem High School
and Poly
and City.
Big, yep.
Yeah, and every year, and they had a fantastic schedule every year, and they were always winning 8-9 games a year.
Pat Hennessy, the coach at the time. Hand up the middle. That's breaking it for good yardage. It looks like Reeves again. Reeves still on his feet and finally taken off his feet. Hemby is able to knock him down, but not before he gets to the 25-yard line.
Actually, the coach at that time was Al Seski.
No, Seski left in 65.
Yeah, and then
Hennessy took over.
And yeah.
Yep, so he was the coach against Jerry Gray, the late, great Jerry Gray.
Yeah.
And the late, great Pat Hennessy. Neither one, of course, still with us. 11:45 left in the half. The give. Fumble! Ball is loose. Wolfing is going to dive on it, but it's a big loss back to the 42-yard line.
Well, that's a tough play for Bel Air. You just get a big run and you're moving the football, and it's 1st and 10, and now
2nd and 20, 2nd and 22 maybe.
Yeah, the ball's on the 41 to the 6. It's 25.
Yeah, got to get down to the 16 for a 1st down. Second down and 26 to go. Good job by Rolfing to get back on the ball. Looked like that play was doomed from the beginning, Bob. John Carroll just split the gap. Going to be like a fake handoff to one back and then the handoff to the other.
Bel Air's been moving the football a little bit, but you know, if everything doesn't work for them, then John Carroll makes a stop or there's a penalty, puts them back deeper, and then I don't think Bel Air throws the football that well. So, you know, really being error-free is very, very important to the Bel Air High School program.
That was Kimbrough going left, picked up a couple of yards. Up about 3, it's going to be third and about 23 to go. 10 minutes, 20 seconds and counting left in the half.
Well, John Carroll's playing a little soft zone here, so they
Rolfing
can throw the
Oh,
football.
threw it just a bit behind him, looking for
did.
Zaborowski. Incomplete. He had him open, Bob.
Yeah, well, John Carroll's playing a little soft, not to give up the first down, and so they had space in the middle to throw the football. And like you said, he threw it behind him. And
Rolfing sees the film, he'll say, "Man, I had him," and that was going to be a good game because, as you said, Bob, there was a wide open gap in the middle of that field.
So now it's a fourth down, and now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to
third down, third and 22.
Well, the stick says it's fourth. So
officials now are conferring. He had the fumble on first down, run on second down, and yeah, this you're right, should be fourth down. Scoreboard still says 3, but the stick says 4, and I think it is fourth down.
And so my question is, the ball was on the John Carroll, like 38-yard line. Are you going to punt this football, or are you going to go for a 4th and 22 if it's fourth down?
Yeah, I think it is fourth down.
I believe it's fourth down also. So
scoreboard still says third down, but they had the fumble on first down, the run on second down, and then incomplete pass on third down. Kind of a humid night out there, Bob. Not real warm, maybe 75 or so, but it's the kind of night that it's going to exact its toll in terms of that humidity out there.
Well, with all the rain and everything that we've had, the humidity's been, they've been practicing it every day. So,
except they haven't been able to practice outside because of the heat index that they can't practice. So
can't practice, but what's the heat index tonight?
Well, the temperature's not that high, so maybe that's the break.
The difference, yeah.
Still says third down on the scoreboard. They're going for it, so let's see how it works out. Rolfing, looking, has time, throws the ball. It's going to be complete. Zaborowski, but he's going to be hemmed in and taken down at the 38. That's Isaac Myers with the tackle. And that was fourth down, so we'll turn the ball over to John Carroll.
I don't know about that, Donnie. Kick the football, get it down inside your 10-yard line if you can. It works at 20. It's an 18-yard gain for you at that point. Maybe better than that.
Yeah, the pass play wasn't going to pick up 22 yards. There was no question about that. No. So John Carroll will take over now, leading by 7-0 with 9:50 left in the half. Let's see, is it Gianelli or is Smith still in? Yep, it's number 12, Smith, the sophomore, still in. The young man who just threw the touchdown pass, the 50-yarder. Back to throw.
Which is what he can do.
He has got a gun. Just overthrows Hemby. What is that, 3 or 2? And that looks like number 3, Hemby. Yep. Had him open by about a step and just overthrew him a bit.
Just about overthrew him by maybe a foot. This young man does have a very nice arm.
He does that. He's 6 for 12 coming in for 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, Bob, but 3 interceptions. And again, if you're a sophomore, that's probably the learning curve that you have.
Well, this whole season is going to be a learning curve for him, truthfully, but he looks like he's going to be a very, very good football player.
And of course, he has Will Gillinelli as the alternate quarterback, so it's not all on him. He keeps the ball, does the young man Smith. Picks up about 3 yards on the keeper. Across the 40-yard line to about the 41. Pick up of maybe 4 on the play.
Yeah.
3rd and a long 7, short 6. Clock running at 9:19.
We've had one big play. We've had a couple very long plays in the ball game, and pretty much else it's been sort of smash mouth football.
Yep.
And now we've got Smith in the ball game who's throwing the football, so that's going to open some things up for John Carroll.
Rolling, looking, throwing, has his man complete, still on his feet, battling for the first down and has the first down. Boy, that young man just would not go down.
Yeah, that's Hemby again.
Took 5 of the Bobcats to take him down, and that is Hemby. Roman Hemby is 6 foot, 170 pounds, but Bob, you talked about somebody looking smaller. He looks bigger out there. And Hemby is only a sophomore. So sophomore.
That's going to be a 3-year combination right there for John Carroll.
Scott Smith to Roman Hemby. 2 sophomores. Hemby's rushed the ball for 75 yards already this season. Also has 2 pass catches coming in for 88 yards. So plus that 80-yard TD pass earlier in the season.
Yeah, well, now they've crossed into Bel Air territory, and they're driving the ball a little bit here. That's high
Overthrown
pass.
and almost intercepted. That looked like the defensive back went for the tackle rather than the ball. I think if he'd looked up, the ball could have been picked off.
I don't think he could have gotten to it. It was a little bit left of him and high.
But he had his eyes, Bob, right on the receiver.
Yeah, all he was doing was trying to make the tackle, which.
Yeah. He is Michael Nicole. We're talking about Nicole, who did. He held up too. It wasn't a dirty play. It wasn't a defenseless receiver, I should say. But he did let him know, don't come across the middle in my territory. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Ball just about at midfield, just over the line into Bel Air territory. The Battle of Bel Air, John Carroll versus Bel Air.
Inside hand. Cross
no,
oh,
and he keeps the ball.
Keeps it.
That's Smith. Great fake, Bob. He had me faked out.
Well, they ran a crossbuck in the backfield, and he faked the football and then turned and came around his left side. And
picked up about 5 or 6. He's going to be short of the first down, but close to it. 3rd down and about 3. That was a great fake. As you said, he got crossbuck fake and then put the ball away and came around the left side. Scott Smith, the sophomore quarterback. There's the same play. He's going to keep it this time. He's going to be hit and held. Well, nice play. It looked like number
25 also.
Yeah, 25 in on the play. That's Noah Alexander, captain of this team, a track star. That's going to bring up a 4th down, Bob.
Now they're at their 43-yard line, and even though John Carroll throws the ball very well, they're going to punt it down and get some field position here.
Dominic Burnt, the kicker, and again, if you're John Carroll, you figure, hey, they've not shown they can move the ball in big chunks, so let's back them down and try to pin them down in their own territory. Waiting for the snap. Good snap. He's running. Now he kicks it. It's that Australian-style kicker. It's going to hit and come dead at about the, look out, Bel Air, don't touch the ball. It's going to roll dead at about the 3-yard line. Wow.
I never understand kids running toward the punts
Get out
rather
of there.
than away from the punts.
Yeah. You're not going to pick it up on the run. You're not a shortstop.
And I know they're coached to get away from the punt because the coaches are screaming all the time at them to get away from the punts.
Well, Bob, when you're 16, 17 years old, it just seems like the smart thing to do. You remember when you were 16 or 17, Bob?
And
think back.
Put
the
word, the smart thing to do in that sense with me.
We probably did a few things when we were that age where we thought, on hindsight, retrospect, perhaps that wasn't the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, the Bobcats are back in the shadow of their own goal line. Great play by John Carroll. That Australian-style kick. It's good because when it hits, it sort of dies, and that's what happened there.
Well, it's a rugby kick, actually.
Yeah. Handoff inside. Short yardage, still struggling, up past the 5-yard line.
Maybe picked up 2 or 3.
Ball started on the Bel Air 3-yard line.
Isaac Myers on the tackle.
He's a fine young man, Isaac, 5'10", 185-pound senior. Has 8 tackles on the season coming in, including a tackle for loss. Seth Goldberg, the new athletic director at John Carroll. Bob had a chance to meet him before the game. Fine young man. Here's a handoff around the corner. Gang tackle by John Carroll.
I tell you what, there were some great pursuits. Number 51.
That's C.K. O'Duke.
Well, I tell you what, he came behind the play and ran the back down. Because if he wouldn't have made that tackle, there was some space there for him to go. Very nice play.
He talked to some of the students before the game, and they swear that his name is pronounced C.K. Oduwo. However, the players told me it was O'Duke.
Okay.
Spelled O-D-O-U-O-K.
O-D-O-K. The man is okay.
He made an okay play that time. That'll bring up 3rd down now. The Bobcats desperate to get 3 yards for a 1st down. And they have it, I believe, across the 15-yard line.
That is a 1st down.
Big tackle made, but not before the 1st down was recorded. It was Caleb Adabong who came in and made the tackle. Marquez Kimbrough picks up the 1st down though. Big 1st down for the Bobcats. 5:12 left in the half. Bob, if nothing else, to keep that defense off the field for a time.
Yes, that was the number. Yeah, number 50.
Darius Lloyd.
Darius Lloyd, yeah, he was in on that tackle and made a very nice play at the point.
6 foot 220. You look at the John Carroll team, they've got size. Right?
They do.
For a small team, numbers-wise, they have a good size. Rolfing going all the way at quarterback, back in the shotgun formation. Whistle blows. Flag goes down. Could that be delay of game? Yeah, I think it is.
It is, yeah.
That's a...
and the back judge has the clock, so...
That is a no-no to cost yourself 5 yards deep in your own territory that way. 1st down and 15. Ball goes back from the 16 to the 11. Clock rolling again at 4:38 and counting left in this half. Back to throw without a fake. Looking, throwing, has a man. Incomplete off the fingertips. The Bobcat fans are not real pleased with the fact that their player, Kelly Purtell, I should say. I get it right. It's Riley Purtell. Riley disappointed, of course, that he didn't bring it in. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him, but
it was. But he was open, and the ball hit him in the hands, and you know he knows he should have made the play. And it's a shame because they would have picked up some good yardage on that play.
Boy, and great pass protection by the Bel Air Bobcat forward line that time, Bob. Rolfing had all day long to sit back there and choose the one he wanted to throw to. Hands off inside, quick hitter.
It was an inside trap by Bel Air, and he almost broke that thing, but he looked like he hit his own man. Who John Carroll player did a nice job knocking the one guy pulling down a little bit and made him bounce off his leg.
That was Ben Blessing, the big 6'8", 305-pounder.
Now I know why he stopped him.
Headed again for Holy Cross, where Bob Cousy played basketball, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Now, Brad looks at me and says, Bob who? See, anybody who's not 70 years old or thereabouts wouldn't have no idea who Bob Cousy was. They tell the story about Bob Cousy that he went out and played golf one day. He was a great athlete, and he shot like an 80 or something and said, this game is boring. I don't want to do this anymore. never played again.
That sounds like him.
I shot the other day, Bob. I was playing golf. I shot a 75.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then what did you do for the next 9?
Right. I got to the 11th hole and I said, 75's enough. I'm stopping right here. I've never understood golf, Bob. The low score wins. What's that all about?
I don't know. It's
So
maybe it's kind of like cross country. I
You
think they
pay
do
a
the same
lot of
thing.
money to go out and you hit the ball and it goes from the tee to the green and you make a putt. What adventure is that? Hit it in the woods, hit it in the water.
What's the old adage? It's a good walk spoiled.
Yeah. Mark Twain, I believe, said that. Actually, Samuel Clemens. One and the same, as you know, Brad.
Well, we have less than 4 minutes left in this half.
Yep.
And Bel Air has a 3rd and 13 here. So there's time now for John Carroll to make a stop here and get the football and have a possibility of putting points back up on the board before half.
Absolutely. For the Bobcats, you want to pick up that first down again, if for nothing else than to run the clock down. Back to throw. Big rush, gets it off. And taken down from behind. Great tackle by Isaac Myers. Just about the time it looked like the running back was going to get started. It's Marquez Kimbrough.
Well, that was his key. He just, when they set that, when Bel Air set that up, Myers just slid out to the right, to the back, to where Kimbrough was, and just waited to see if the pass was coming to him. And when it did, then he just moved up and tackled him.
If Myers hadn't made that tackle, Bob, I think he had some room to run.
He had a little. I don't know if he'd got a first down on it, but he did have some open space.
Need one more player out there. The Bobcats get him on the field. Darius Ashman to punt the ball away. This is the pressure on the punter. John Carroll, punt returners only at the 35-yard line of the Bobcats. They figure to get great field position. Kick end over end, coming to the sideline, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 34-yard line. And indeed,
right on the
John
34.
Carroll will get great field position. 2:43 left in this first half.
Well, that's exactly what Coach Brinkman wanted from the John Carroll standpoint. And now they've got every opportunity to put some more points on the board before they go into the locker room.
Coach Brinkman very excited about being at John Carroll. Wants to build a program. He said his goal is to take them into the A conference of the MIAA. They're in the B conference right now.
And that's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. You need numbers, Bob. You need
well, you need not only do you need numbers, you need quality. I mean, big quality.
Yeah, they have the big players and the quality, it appears, but as you say, the numbers.
Well, they need quality top to bottom. I mean, they have a few quality at that level.
That's Hemby. Hemby stays on his feet inside the 20-yard line to about the 18. Well, nice run by Hemby.
Now with Hemby and the sophomore quarterback, they have a start.
Yeah, I'm going to correct myself. That looks like it's number 2 again, Malik Scott.
Malik Scott?
No, that is Hemby.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought so.
The 3 sort of.
3 and 2 actually, they have about the same size. The Hemby's probably a little bit thicker.
Yeah, and Hemby again, the sophomore.
Yeah.
That number sort of folds up in his waistband there. Looks like a 2. Scott Smith still in at quarterback, the sophomore, threw the touchdown pass. Hands it off inside, bouncing outside. Hemby again, looking for the goal line down to the 5. Well, nice run by Hemby.
No.
Taken out of bounds by Sincere Montgomery. Not before he picks up another first down. So John Carroll, who started at the 34, all the way down now to the 5. Out of bounds, stops the clock. No, the clock's still running.
No, the clock stopped because of the first down.
Yep, still running at 1:56. Plenty of time for John Carroll. Obviously, they'd like to go in and score maybe with about 10 seconds left.
That's 1st and 5 right now, so.
First and goal. Inside handoff. Driving close to the goal line. Stacked up just short of the goal line. That is Chukwu, the outstanding senior running back.
As long as you punch it in before the clock runs out, you're in good shape. There's plenty of time.
You're not caring if they have 10 seconds or a minute 34. You'll take the points any way you get them, right, Bob?
And now also the scoreboard is the unofficial time. The time's being kept on the field.
Yeah.
So
Smith hands it off. Nope, Smith keeps it. Is he in? No sign yet.
the answer is no. There's not an official who put a sign up.
Well,
So
the John Carroll players have their hands up, but that doesn't count.
no.
Smith short,
So now it's
106.
third and goal from the 1.
Third and inches. Now the sneak. Well, great job of the Bobcats. They
Great
battle
job.
it up. Wow, what a play this would be if Bel Air can stop them from scoring here. Clock now at 50 seconds and counting.
You might want to take a timeout for this one and discuss it.
That brings up a 4th down now. Boy, do you kick a field goal here, Bob? Do you know,
I
go
don't
ahead
think
and put
so.
3 points on.
I think you have to set the tone and say we're going to put the ball in the end zone.
You saw what Smith did. He came up and he sort of tapped the rear of the center and said, just snap me the ball and I'll go in before Bel Air gets set. But the Bobcats were ready.
Oh, about 6 guys went right to the quarterback and just jammed everything up, got under the John Carroll offensive line and jammed it up, and then the defensive end came down and made the play and just hit Smith and held him.
Easy for us to say up here, Bob, but when Smith is the sophomore quarterback, you've got Chuku, the young man who averages 9.5 yards a carry. You've got Roman Hembley. You got all these kinds of bigger kids. You wonder why you don't hand them the ball to see if they can push it in from 1 yard.
On the first play when it was first and goal from the 5, they ran it down to the inside the 1.
Yep.
And then Bel Air made 2 very nice plays, jamming the players up and not letting them get in. So,
Bob, I think it's safe to say this is the play of the game so far. If the Bobcats can stop them and keep it at 7-0, they will feel a moral victory besides the scoreboard victory.
well, Bel Air has actually done an excellent job of playing defense except for the 1 play.
Well, here it goes now, 4th down, about a half yard to go. Smith still in the quarterback. Chuku beside him. Smith rolling, looking, throwing.
He's wide open.
Flag goes down, and that's going to be roughing the passer.
That's what it looks like.
The touchdown pass is complete to Dominic Burnt. So a touchdown from Smith to Burnt of 1 yard.
You know, the sad part was, if Bel Air would have made the play and knocked the pass down, John Carroll would have had another attempt from half the distance on that. And you got to let that quarterback go.
We're so impressed with Smith, a young man with all kinds of poise, Bob, just a sophomore. Dominic Burnt, 6'1", 185-pounder. That's his 2nd touchdown of the year, 2nd touchdown catch. John Carroll going up. There's the replay, and you'll see wide open. Bob, that's like a center fielder waiting for the ball to come down.
Just throw it to me, throw it to me.
And let me catch it. Fingers don't fail me now. Looking for the point after is Garrett Phillips. Ball down. Kick is up. And the kick is good. So it's 14-0. Boy, that is a big touchdown in the scheme of this game, Bob.
Well, it all started when John Carroll decided they weren't going to go for the ball 3rd and 2. They were going to punt the football down the field and try to get Bel Air inside, which they did inside the 5-yard line. Held them, got the ball back with a little bit less than 3 minutes left in the half, and then took the ball down and punched it in the end zone. That was a big score for John Carroll.
The Bobcats, of course, made the opposite decision where they had the ball at the 30-yard line of John Carroll, decided to go for it, didn't get it.
With passing, what I didn't understand, with a lot of passing yards, they were like 4th and 16 or 20 or something, and they don't throw the ball that well.
Well, this play here that Smith throws the ball from the 1-yard line, I mean, you're taking a chance. A throw, it's got to be good blocking. You got to, throw the ball well. You got to catch it.
I think it was a pass-run combination, and he, if they didn't come with him, he was going to roll and he was going to run right into the end zone. And as soon as they sprint and left the guy to come get him, he just dinked the pass into the end zone, which is what a good quarterback does. And
I remind you again, a sophomore quarterback. Young man we're watching grow up right before our eyes here.
So if you have aspirations of playing in the A conference, you need players like that to, who are juniors and seniors who who have the experience and can make plays like that on a consistent basis.
The ball's going to go in the end zone and come out, and I think it's probably safe to say, my guess is the Bobcats will simply run the clock out and go in at halftime and come back out and see if they can, reestablish it. John Carroll will get the ball first in the second half, since the Bobcats had the ball first in the first half. There you see Dave Hurick talking to his quarterback, Austin Wolfing.
Yeah, I don't know, Don. They may throw the football here. And they put themselves in a position where they need to score or they need to take a chance. And if they throw 2 passes, depending on what the time is, maybe they run the last play and try to kill the clock.
Well, they've got a passing formation. The wide receivers, left and right, 2 each. Whistle blows. The officials have something to say.
And a timeout here by John Carroll.
Bob, we're missing our partner. Happy to have you with us, partner Keith Rawlings, who's up watching his son play at Yale tonight.
Who was a pretty good quarterback in his own right.
He was that, yes.
At John Carroll.
And was, of course, he went to Edgewood, actually. You're talking about his son. Thank you. Keith Rawlings, of course, a member of the Hall of Fame at Edgewood, as is Brad, did you know, my partner, Hall of Fame, Edgewood High School? Yeah, Monaco. Who knew?
Obviously, it's who you know.
He's so modest, you notice that he won't brag. But he does have his resume written out if you'd like to read it. Okay. Show him your resume, Bob. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, it's in my pocket.
Bob, we're looking forward to this on a Friday night. We're looking forward tomorrow to the Running Festival.
The Susquehanna River Run Festival, first one ever in Havre de Grace and Perryville, running across the Thomas Hayden Bridge. And a lot of thanks go out to the Alseski Scholarship Foundation, to County Executive Barry Glassman and his whole staff, the mayors of Havre de Grace and Perryville for all of their help in putting this together. And Don and I are going to be the announcers tomorrow.
I tell you what, together again. And if you're watching this on live streaming, which you might be, come out tomorrow and watch the race, right, Bob? We
Absolutely.
welcome spectators. They're going to run from Havre de Grace across the Hayden Bridge into Perryville, into Perry Point. Wow. I'm tired just thinking about
back, and then back over the bridge.
Not me. I would do. If I got that far, I would stay, because that's close to my home. Bobcats, they did spike the ball, Bob. I'm not sure exactly why.
It's 3rd and 8 now. Boom!
Almost intercepted. Ooh. Oh, that ball could have gone the other way. That was Caleb Adabong, who had a bead on the ball.
I've thrown a few of those.
They're called wounded ducks, right?
Yeah.
You're sort of looking at your receiver and saying, that's where I'm going to throw the ball.
I did that as a JV quarterback, threw that pass right there, right into the defensive back's arms for about a 40-yard touchdown for the other team.
Well, you could have been Sam Darnold, whose first pass as an NFL quarterback was pick 6 going the other way.
Aaron Rodgers also.
Actually, Brett Favre.
Or Brett Favre. I knew it was one of the Green Bay guys.
And Jameis Winston, 3 years ago, did the exact same thing. Pick 6 on your first pass in the NFL. The punt. Calling the fair catch with 17 seconds. Bob, again, it's what I don't understand, to allow John Carroll to have some time on the clock.
John Carroll, they're just going to put the ball down now and just...
I don't know. Scott Smith, I wouldn't trust him. I would be on my my defense, because he's shown that he can throw the ball in the air.
Yes, he can.
You know, like 50 yards going away from the throw. I'm impressed. And Bob, as you know, I'm not easily impressed.
He has some talent. It's going to be interesting to watch him grow over the next couple years, and both size-wise, competitiveness.
Yep. Bob, we were talking about Hall of Fame. Keith Rawlings, an Edgewood High School Hall of Famer as well. We get to induct 7 new Hall of Famers on October the 5th. So excited about that. Some just wonderful candidates to join the 57 who are already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there are some great candidates in that group. One of my all-time favorite coaches and one of your football partners, Frank Mezzanotte.
Who'll be back here on the 5th. He'll be doing the color commentary with us on the night that he's inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Frank and color is pretty appropriate together because
he's a colorful guy. Living in Clemson, South Carolina now. I wonder if he knew the hurricane was coming, if he decided to go there before. Well, that's going to end our first half, 14-0, as you see the John Carroll Patriots scoring a touchdown in each period to go up by that 14-0 score. We'll take a break. We'll come back with second half action. Don't you go away. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we're back with you just after halftime. A wonderful halftime performance by the Bel Air Bobcat Marching Band. Bob, they were good.
Did a great job.
Yeah, they did. Very exciting. Of course, they're hoping that they inspire their team to do a little better in the second half. The Bobcats down 14-0. Touchdown pass 50 yards from Smith to Scott. And then a 1-yard touchdown pass from Smith to Burnt. One in the first period, one in the second period. 14-0 is the score. John Carroll will get the ball. Bob, if you were Dave Urich, the Bel Air coach, what would you tell your team that they need to do better in the second half?
Well, they have to move the ball offensively on a consistent basis, and that's been kind of hard for them. I don't think they're a big play team. So in order to score, they have to matriculate down the fields, and it's very hard to score that way because it only takes a mistake to put you back in a deep hole.
Yep.
And that's actually what's really happened to them in the first half.
Absolutely right. It was a holding penalty once, and the other time it was a big fumble when they looked like they were going in for a touchdown, which would have put them up 7-0 at that point.
Yeah, it's just difficult on them, and John Carroll's doing a great job. I mean, offensively, they have more weapons, especially the sophomore quarterback Smith. He throws the ball incredibly well. Hemby and Malik Scott are two kids that are very, very athletic and make plays. They have the running back,
Chuku.
Who can make plays.
And we haven't seen him a lot. He averages a 9.9. Bob, he's had 296 yards in the first two games.
And I can't forget the Bel Air running back who is not in the ball game now, who was injured in the, early in the ball game, and who's their best offensive weapon.
Yeah,
Hunter
at this
Bruce.
Point. And they were moving the ball, Bob, as you know, and he went down. I'm not sure exactly what happened. It was a short play. He was grabbed around the ankle and sort of extended, so maybe that ankle got caught somewhere, on the tackle. But they certainly do miss him.
So that's basically where we're at right now, and I think it's a big ask for Bel Air to come back in this football game and make up a 2-touchdown deficit at this point. And I'm not sure that they can hold John Carroll from putting a ball in the end zone in the second half.
Bob, if you'd like to wave to your wife or someone, too late. There you go. Anybody who's live streaming, hello from Bel Air. It's the Battle of the Bel Air, Battle of Bel Air, I should say. All weekend long, they're playing volleyball and soccer and every sport, every varsity sport you can think of. And this being part of it, the football game. And the winner who scores the most points, I'm not sure exactly how they figure that out, wins the Bel Air Cup. Which is pretty important, I think.
It is for Bel Air High School and for John Carroll High School.
Well, they had the Susquehanna Bowl last week. That's Perryville and Havre de Grace. That's the football game, the trophy that travels between the two towns.
That walks across the water to get from one town to the other.
Sort of, yeah. So, that's kind of interesting, and I really like this idea. Of course, John Carroll and Bel Air, who played for many, many years in a series every year, even though they were in different conferences, for a long decade or more, didn't play, and then last year they started again, and now this year again, and both Dave Urich and now Ken Brinkman are committed to seeing this happen every year. And obviously, you look around here and you see the sold-out crowd, and you realize how important and how good that is.
It's great for high school athletics in this area. So I hope they continue I felt that way when we were here for the soccer game 2 years ago, and now for the football game. Great weekend in Bel Air for John Carroll and Bel Air High School.
Let's see what the Bobcats can do. They've got to hold John Carroll first, and then, of course, get the ball and put some points on the board. Ball bouncing around, picked up, scooped up. Is that Scott? Looks like number 2 from the distance across the field. No, that's Hemby, number 3. He's going to bring it back around the 20-yard line where John Carroll will put the ball in play. Let's see if they have Scott still in at quarterback. Yeah, Scott Smith, I should say.
Tackled by Cade Ketchum, who will help you is number 2 for Bel Air.
That's killing me. Yeah, I can see his number. It's those little numbers John Carroll has. I'm a bit surprised. Scott Smith back in at quarterback, the sophomore. Gianelli started the game, came out, and Smith has gone just about the last quarter and a half.
Well, do you think he's playing the hot hand at this point?
I think he might be. And again, we may see the coming out party for Scott Smith in terms of the sophomore ready to take over.
Well, I tell you what, that's tough on a senior.
Yeah.
That's really tough on a senior.
To be able to maintain, your equilibrium.
Well, it's tougher on a coach because...
Well, George Appleby, our neighbor here, teaches Gianelli in class, so you can ask him what kind of kid that Gianelli is.
I expect he's a really fine young man. I don't think I have to ask him that.
And George Appleby is busy, by the way. He's filming for John Carroll. He has more important things to do than talk to us, Bob.
Good. That's a good thing from his standpoint.
Second down and 6. John Carroll looking to try to pad that lead. Already up by 2 scores. Back to throw. Smith throws. Hits his man. Taken off his feet. Very short gain.
You know what I liked about that? I mean, that play looked like it was coming out to the left, and Smith looked to the left, wasn't comfortable with the turnaround, and hit his down back, and to try to get some yardage, and end up making a 5-yard gain out of the play.
Yeah, and that was Burnt who made the catch, who had the touchdown
4-yard gain, so it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
Yeah. Well, you're right, Bob. It seemed like he had his progressions. He had 2 or 3 different places he was looking at, not happy with what he saw, and took the check down man. That's a mature decision for a 6'2", 160-pound young man who's going to grow and put on size. Looking for the completion up the middle. Ball thrown just a little bit tall.
Yeah, just a tad high on that one. He was backing up and threw it off the back foot as he was throwing it, and the ball carried on him.
Yeah, it looked like he was looking for Austin Brinkman, the coach's son. A 6'4", 195-pound junior.
Later on in the year, he'll settle on and take the step back and stop and make that pass, and it's a learning progression for him at this point.
So Bel Air did what they had to do, and that is to stop John Carroll, forcing a punt. 3 and out for the Patriots. 10:20 left here in the 3rd. Good snap. This time he doesn't do that running pooch kick. Hits it well, and boy, he takes a big bounce. Goes all the way down inside the 20-yard line. I know what you're shaking your head about, Bob. You've got to catch that ball.
Yeah. Well, they had 2 guys split, and the ball went right between them, and neither one of them, one was looking for the other rather than just getting in front of him and catching it.
And almost a penalty against Bel Air. The Bel Air receiver hit the John Carroll cover man sort of from the side. The official gave him a look but didn't throw the flag. So instead of having great field position, Bel Air backed up to its 19-yard line.
That's 49 yards away from where he punted the football.
Give Dominic Burnt, the punter, a lot of credit. That's the second time he's done that today to pin the Bobcats way back in their own territory. Inside handoff. Struggling for yardage. Whistle hasn't blown yet. Still alive, and finally he goes down.
Well, it's not often you see a team in a full house backfield and 7 men on the line of scrimmage in a tight formation.
Especially when you're down 14-0.
Yeah, and you're
Jalen Reeves, the ball carrier, and Jalen was a young man who came in and replaced Hunter Ruse. When Ruse went down, I guess, Bob, that was on maybe the 3rd play of the game that Ruse, who broke a big play, and then a little short gain, and he was down and out.
It was early. It was very early in the 1st quarter.
Here come the Bobcats, 2nd down and 7. Austin Wolfing, the quarterback, hands the ball off on the inside handoff for, again, a short yardage gain.
That's going to bring up a 3rd and long, 4 or 5.
Marquez Kimbrough with the carry.
Well, not even that's going to bring up more than that. 3rd and 6.
C.K. Odu on the tackle. Ball started at the 19-yard line to the Bobcats.
He has some athleticism, Odu, and he has nice size. and they're bringing him again. It looks like he's going to come again from that middle linebacker spot. There he goes.
Handoff, trying to break it. That's Marquise Kimbrough. He doesn't get anything at all, really. He's going to bring up a 4th down.
And O'Du was on the tackle again, Don.
Young man, C.K. O'Du.
Or O'Du, O'Duke. Which
O'Duke is the way the students told me to pronounce it.
And O'Du is the way the players?
Yeah.
Well, let's go with the players.
O-D-O-U-O-K, O'Duke. 5'11", 195-pound senior. Looking for the punt. That's going to be a nice punt. Going to take a bad bounce for Bel Air, though, coming back almost to the 50-yard line.
Yep.
Ashman hit it well, but it took a bad bounce if you're Bel Air. Instead of bouncing deep into John Carroll territory, it came right back almost to the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
Looked like one of my chip shots, Bob.
You're looking at about a 33-yard punt.
Except mine usually go in the water, so there's no water out there. So.
Well, I've seen you in the sand now.
Well, yeah. John Carroll with the ball now in good field position. Started the first time at their own 25. Now they're starting at their own 48. So by virtue of that great punt, picked up about 20 yards.
Yep.
8:18 left in the 3rd. It's been all John Carroll so far. Keeping the ball is Smith.
Ran that fake cross buck again. And
this time he got a mouthful of blue shirt.
But Bel Air, after the first play, Bel Air's done a very, very nice job of maintaining their positions and being there to tackle Smith.
And now we see Gianelli coming back in the ball game. Number 1, Will Gianelli, the young man who started the game, the senior. Cross buck.
Now that time they gave it to the Hemby. Yeah.
That was that cross buck we were talking about before. Hemby picks up short yardage, though. Up near the 50. Bomar with the tackle. Devon Bomar, 6'3", 245-pound senior. Second-year starter. Coaches tell me that a number of 1AA schools are looking at him, making offers to him, so he'll be playing in the next level next year.
A lot of good 1AA schools.
3rd down and 8. Gianelli rolling.
He's going to run. Oh,
no,
no.
He throws away and hits his man.
Nice play.
And that is to Austin Brinkman, who makes the catch, number 19, the 6'4", 195-pound son of the coach out there playing.
Yep.
We'll give a lot of credit to Gianelli. Bob, he faked us out. You and I both thought he was going to run the ball.
Yeah, I thought he was going to run the football, and he looked up, and Brinkman was wide open, and he put the ball right in his hands, and Brinkman squeezed it and made a nice play, big gain.
And again, rolling to his left for a right-handed quarterback, not an easy throw. Gianelli looking, throwing, flag is down. Looks like it's going to be caught, but let's see what the flag is all about. In the area where normally you see a hold. Dominic Burnt with the catch from Gianelli.
Now that looked to me like the number 2, but it wasn't. It's the number 8.
Yeah. Those numbers are, for old eyes, Brad, hard to see from 50 yards away. By the way, this beautiful facility here at Bel Air, we have a perch up here about, 54 steps, Bob, to be exact. I counted them.
Got our workout in for the day, right?
Yeah, they're steep. I tried to convince the folks that instead of me coming down to see you, come up to see me. No, it's a beautiful facility. And
so
great.
What was the call?
It looks like a hold. It's going to wipe out the completion, put the ball back to the 47-yard line. Tell you what, Gianelli now has said, Scott Smith, you're a sophomore. Maybe I want to throw the ball a little bit more here this year, so I'm going to air it out. He's thrown 3 really good passes here. Back to throw again. There's the screen, well
again.
set up. Chuku, oh, nice job coming from behind to make the tackle.
51.
That's Austin Hess.
Yes, nice play.
The 6-foot senior. 6 foot, 190-pound senior. It looked like Chuku had a lane ahead of him, but coming out of nowhere was Hess to make the tackle.
Yeah, he very covered ground, made a very nice play on that.
Chuku's not an easy man to take down. He's 5'7", 170 pounds. Built low to the ground and very, very fast, very speedy. Bobby had 296 yards coming in just 2 games. 9.9 yards per carry. 4 touchdowns did Chuku. 5:57 and counting. Hemby in motion. Gianelli looking. Throws on the run. Off the fingertips. Was that Hemby off the fingertips?
It was off the fingertips of Hemby, but that's not who the throw was for.
It looked like Brinkman was the man who
He was
intended.
standing there by himself about 3 yards past there, and Hemby actually deflected it away from him.
A poorly run pattern. I don't think you're supposed to have 2 receivers in the same zone. 3rd down and 20. Ball inside the 45-yard line at the 43. Timeout on the field on that incompletion. Greg Commodore, the principal here at Bel Air, and Tony Blackburn, the athletic director, thanked them for their work hosting us. Great pass and a great catch. Right on the money. It looked like burnt. No, it's Austin Brinkman instead. Brinkman with a great catch right on the numbers, and he pulled it in just as it was being tackled. What a great pass by Gianelli. And Brinkman did exactly what he needed to do. That is wrap the ball up just as it was being hit. So it brings up a 4th down now. 4th down and about 8. Got to get inside the 25 to the 23. They're about at the 31. Gianelli throws it. Has a man. Is that Brinkman again?
Looks like him.
It is number 19, Brinkman. Boy, he's come alive here in the second half. That's 3 catches.
They're starting to throw the ball to him, and he's filtering right into the open areas and waiting for the pass, and he has been open. And he has good hands. He makes plays.
Bob, you coach your grandkids, and I know you've coached your son, Ken Brinkman, the coach, and his son, Austin. It's a special thing. You try not to show favoritism, and you try not to be overly hard on them, but you have to have a pride when they do something really good.
It's great. It's very hard. At least for me, it was difficult coaching them. I expected them to be perfect and only get better, and that was kind of hard.
Chuku runs down the right side. He's in. Touchdown, Chuku.
Yep. There was a nice quick scat back run right there.
Touchdown of 20 yards. Chimzi Chuku with the 20-yard TD run, the 3rd touchdown for John Carroll. There you see him. You see that nice little delay, Bob, that he made just before he took off. He found the hole, and then he was gone.
Yeah, he started to cut a little bit into the inside to the left, and then boom, he turned and cut outside and was gone.
8 plays, 52 yards, 19 to nothing. Actually 20 to nothing.
Interesting watching John Carroll set their offense. They remind me of Chip Kelly when he was at the University of Oregon. The way they, a lot of the college teams are doing it now, where you all stand and look at your coach on the sideline.
Yeah. Garrett Phillips with the attempted extra point.
That's no good. Missed left.
And he pulls it left. So the score remains 20 to nothing. So exactly what John Carroll wanted to do, and that is to tackle him some points, and what Bel Air, of course, didn't want them to do, and that is to go down by 3 touchdowns. And now it's going to be really difficult, Bob, for Bel Air.
Yeah, it was tough for them to come back from 14 down without their best back and not throwing the ball exceptionally well. And John Carroll playing very well defensively. Like I said, they really had to run the ball and not make a mistake going down the field, and they were doing that in the beginning of the game. After the first possession.
Yeah.
The second possession, when they got back out on the field for the second time, that's when Rose broke the broke the 35 or 40-yard run.
Yeah.
And they were starting to move the football, and then he went down and haven't been the same since.
Yep. Well, Gianelli, who came off the bench replacing Scott Smith at the quarterback after Gianelli had started the game, did a great job there on that drive.
Well, maybe Scott Smith got his attention. He says, well, wait a minute. Now, I'm not giving this job up so easy. I'm a senior around here.
Well, he talked about Lamar Jackson and how Joe Cool got a little bit of here's a nice run. This is what Bel Air needed. Good run back.
They needed about another 50 yards with it. It's a flag on the field down.
That's sincere
about the 23, 24-yard line.
Let's see. For Bel Air's sake, let's hope that's not a hold or some sort of a block in the back. If so, that could be it is. It's going to be against Bel Air. The John Carroll players are motioning. Let's take it back. So Bob, it does seem like every time the Bobcats get something started, they either do something or there's a mistake or something happens and just sort of takes them out of their momentum.
Yeah, they've actually shot themselves in the foot a lot tonight. And
referee Steve Warner says, let's take it back. Mike West is the umpire. Jesse Freeman, the head linesman. Drew Hoagland is the line judge. The field judge is Brian Watson. And what does that stand for, Bob? The side judge.
The side judge.
Says it right there. Dave Stewart. Bobby, is that fog I see on the field on our screen, Brad, or is that just my eyes are going dim? Mist on the cameras. So it is very humid here tonight. Not
very much so.
Not real hot, mid-70s when we started. Rolfing back to throw. Has a man down the middle. It's going to be just overthrown. Unable to get there, looking for the pass was Cade Ketchum.
Yeah. Now this is not Bel Air's strength.
No. I noticed on the field there's a young man with a camera, Brad, who has a umbrella. Does that mean that it's misting out there? We're here in the Lush Plush booth where it's air conditioned and we get food served to us.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going a little far there. No, we don't get food served to us, but it is nice up here.
I was thinking I must have missed that person at halftime.
Yeah, me too. But you can see from the look of the camera how it is getting really misty out here.
You just look at, where we're looking out on the field, it looks like there's spots of mist out there.
Well, the Bobcat Field, of course, is a turf field that was installed when the new Bel Air High School was built in 2010. It is just, arguably, Bob, the best facility in the county in terms of the stands and the accoutrements that go with it.
It's a very nice athletic field. The only thing that would kept it from being a college field is if they would have built stands on the other side.
Yep. Now the good thing too is they kept Alcesky Field, which is down to our back here, so the track goes around the Alcesky Field, and so here we're much closer to the field because you don't have to have that track around it.
Yes.
Which even improves the look even more.
Well, that track was an all-weather track, and it was, so it's probably still in pretty good shape.
It is that, yeah. Of course, Al Sesky, the gentleman to whom the Susquehanna Running Festival is dedicated, there you can see the mist, and that's more than a mist, Brad. That's a rain. Yeah. But anyhow, the gentleman who the run is dedicated to, a great coach here at Bel Air, brought football into Bel Air in 1950 and
had some great years as a football coach.
He did that. Rolfing with the throw. It's complete. Up to the 20.
He ran that Woody Hayes
Kimbrough
belly option play.
Yeah, he did. And now his son Dave, the coach at Falston, has been there for 72 years, I believe. Actually more like 40, but it's a long time. Runs an entirely different offense. He is a wide open, gambling, swashbuckling kind of coach. He ran his dad's offense for a while, but now he's opened it up.
Yeah, much different.
Good to see Dave back and healthy and doing the job as coach. He's Falston opened in 1977. And he's been there from day one. Scramble in the middle. That was a 4th down play, by the way. Rolfing kept the ball. He needed to keep his feet running, and let's see, did he get the 1st down? If not, it's going to go over to John Carroll with 2:57 left in the 3rd. Got a Patriot player down on the field. I was going to say a big gamble, Bob, but at this point in the game, you're down by 3 scores with 2:57 left in the 3rd. You don't really have much of a choice. George, is that rain or not? George is testing to see if it's, yeah. We see umbrellas in the field.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't moved the football, and, you know, you'd much prefer to go for a 4th and 1 than a, 4th and 15 or 16 like they did in the first half. And, on one hand, it tells your kids you have faith in them. On the other hand, having faith in them, they better deliver and, keep the thing going. But
that camera work by Alan Stengel down there. We were talking about Alan, that he just about a month ago climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's unbelievable.
It is. It is. I'm so proud of him. Working with the Mountain Christian Church and raising funds to provide needed shelter for villagers. I'm so proud of what he did.
Alan, that's for you, bud.
Lost a considerable amount of weight and got himself in good shape. He told me about halfway up, he said, I'm not going to be able to do this. This is not going to work. But he never gave up, and they encouraged him, and he got to the top.
Now, are you and I going to go over there next year?
No, no. No, I shall just clap my hands for Alan and for all those.
See, I believe you could make it.
No. Pastor Kucheris, Ben Kucheris, the pastor at Mountain Christian, led the group over. 26 people went from Mountain Christian, and 25 made it all the way.
Wow.
By the way, they did not get the 1st down.
No, obviously not.
John Carroll does take over. Flag goes down on that 1st down play.
And it looks like it's against, oh, there it is, John Carroll holding.
So John Carroll taking over at about the 24-yard line of the Bel Air Bobcats. Up by 3 scores. Reminds me of 1960, whatever, Paul Hornig and the Fog Bowl at Memorial Stadium. Do you remember that, Bob? Was it maybe before you?
Yeah, it was before I came to Maryland.
It was in the mid-'60s. I think it was in the mid-'60s. Yeah. Paul Hornig, it got so foggy that nobody could see him. He was like the galloping ghost.
I remember a hockey game in Buffalo in the NHL playoffs like that. That's
running free, looking for the touchdown. That's Hemby.
Wow.
Hemby in for the touchdown. Now let me make sure. Is that 3 or 2?
That's Hemby. That is 3. That was an impressive run.
That was a very impressive run. That is a 30-yard run for a touchdown.
But it was a run with not only with stride but with strength.
Hemby goes over from 30 yards out. So 26-0 with 2:28 left in the 3rd, and that, for all intents and purposes.
And when he got to about the 16-yard line, it was like nobody's going to tackle him.
And remember, he is a sophomore also. So you look at Scott Smith, sophomore quarterback, and Roman Hemby, a sophomore running back / receiver.
He's going to fill out to, before it's over, he's going to be 190 pounds in high school and over 200 in college.
Phillips with the attempted extra point. Ball is down, kick is up, kick is good. It's now 27-0. You now see the rain coming down in earnest, or in Leicester. I don't know if it's Ernest or Leicester. I always get those two mixed up. 27-0 the score. John Carroll has been all John Carroll. I shouldn't say really it has. Early in the game, it was a defensive struggle. Patriots scored 1 touchdown in the first period, 1 in the second period. Bob, again, for my money, the key to the game was that touchdown that John Carroll scored with 41 seconds left in the half when they faced a 4th down and 1, and the sophomore quarterback, Scott Smith, went back and hit the tight end, Burnt, with the touchdown pass. That, if it had been 7-0 at half, instead of being 14-0, I think that could have made a big difference in this game.
Yeah, it could have, but that was, like I said before, that was all a field position game that they had played prior to that. And John Carroll did a great, Coach Brinkman did a great job of coaching. Got them into position.
There you see Hunter Roos, by the way, Bob, excuse me for interrupting. You can see on crutches and how disconsolate he is on the sideline there, unable to help his teammates.
I sure wouldn't be happy, I know that. I mean,
he's got a walking boot on, as you can see. And at least the good news is that he's walking, so, I don't want to be playing doctor from way up here.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the problem is, so.
Here's the run. Let's see if he can break it to the 41-yard line.
As all the coaches would say, well, we have to see the film and take the MRI tomorrow and make a decision after that or whatever.
Not sure who that was who ran the ball back. Again, with the fall, it gets becoming a little more difficult to identify. It's a good run back, though, for the Bobcats.
Yes.
Going to bring it up to about the 41-yard line. This time, no penalty. Now, if you're the Bobcats, obviously, you're going to play out this game. The idea of coming back is going to be difficult.
Well, you have some options. You have some choices now as the coach. Are we going to throw the football and try to get back in this ball game, throwing the football? Of course, if we throw the football and are incomplete, the clock doesn't move very much. It gives John Carroll more opportunities to pad the scoreboard. Or are we going to run the football like we do best and try to hit one of those and keep the clock running out? You play to win, so I expect him to throw the football.
Rolfing with the throw right through the hands. The ball's getting a little slick out there, Bob, so.
Yeah, well, that was his second drop. He dropped that one coming across the middle earlier in the football game.
Taking the gloves off, the young man.
And when you're behind like that, that's a play you have to make. And I know nobody feels worse about it than he does.
Absolutely. Never our practice to, these are high school players. We certainly don't want to, demean anyone.
No,
it's
absolutely not. I mean, he's out there giving his best, and
it's a pass that I know that he will think about for many years in his life. When he's old like me, he'll say, "Yeah, I could have caught that."
Ooh, there.
Rolfing is going to run the ball. He gets up to the 50-yard line. Maybe a little short.
See, the one guy, it's really funny. The one guy on the one end had it on the 49. The other guy had it on the other 49.
So they'll compromise and put it right on the 50.
No. The other guy on the far ends, he really wasn't sure where the ball was, so he backed off and let the other official, who actually made the right call. That was a nice run by Rolf.
It was. It really was. Alston Rolfing, the 6'2", 173-pound senior.
Now here we are back in the
tight formation.
Tight T and
that's Reeves with the ball.
Yep.
Young man who came in to replace Hunter Roos early in the ball game. Jalen Reeves, junior, 6 foot, 192 pounds. Bob, good size running back.
Nice size.
Austin Brinkman on the tackle. Ball at the 40-yard line. Clock running at 1:20 left in the third period. Rolfing throwing the ball, has a man down the middle, incomplete. Looking for tight end Ted Zaborowski. Two players in that pattern too, Bob. We saw that happen before. Good job by the Bobcat offensive line. John Carroll had the blitz coming.
Well, it's 3rd and about 1. It wouldn't hurt to run the football and pick up the first down and start again. But down here, they probably have 2 opportunities.
1 minute, 11 seconds left in the third. Handoff.
It's a very nice play by, let's see who shot the gap there.
Looks like is that Blessing?
It's Blessing, yes.
Yeah, Ben Blessing, 64, the 6'8", 305-pound senior.
Yard loss in that player, maybe 2.
Yep.
So now we're looking at 4th and 3.
See, the Bobcats in no big hurry. They realize that 27 points is going to be hard to surmount, but you don't want to make a mistake here. A chance to convert and get something on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, you had a nice drive up to this point. You really want to get the first down and continue it.
Looking to try to draw the Patriots offside. Oh, big hit.
Wow.
That is Isaac Myers. Walping had no chance whatsoever.
No.
One fake, and the next thing he saw was Isaac Myers in his face. Isaac Myers with the sack, and that'll turn the ball over to John Carroll with 19 seconds left here in this third period. Patriots will take over at their own 47-yard line. Interesting to see here, Bob, whether Ken Brinkman decides to keep the ball close to the vest here or whether he tries to put up some more points.
Well, I think he'll probably come out and run the ball a little bit here and take some time off the clock. I mean, he's winning now. So the clock is his friend now. And now he can run the football and not have to worry about it. Oh, there he goes, throws it right away.
Gianelli with the pass. Has a man off his fingertips. Boy, he hit that young man right in stride. Is that Hemby, number 3?
Hemby, yes.
Well, I tell you what, I am impressed with Gianelli, a young man who sat on the bench while Scott Smith was the star, came off the bench, and he's putting the ball right on the money. You know, this ball, again, getting very slick and wet. It's the kind of thing now you have to actually concentrate on looking it in, Bob, and putting it away. You just can't make those fingertip catches anymore.
Now, that ball was tipped a little bit by one of the Bel Air defenders. Oh, yeah.
Gianelli shakes one tackle. This time he's not going to shake the second one. Tackle made by Justin O'Bannon.
I'm kind of surprised a little bit because, I mean, the one way Bel Air could get back in the football game is if you throw an interception or fumble the football on a, rolling out right, rolling out left. And you've got a running back who can run the football.
That's the end of the third period. 27-0 the score. It was 7-0 at the period, 14-0 at the half, 20-0 after 3, and now it's 27-0. All John Carroll here on the Bel Air field. Patriots looking like they have a chance to go to 3-0. The Bobcats 1-2, depending on whether Overly ends up forfeiting that game that we think they will. They were down 13-0 when the rains hit back on the first week of the season.
Well, they're not going to pick the game up to play it again, are they?
No, neither team has been able to find the time. They tried several times. I was talking to Dave Heurig. They offered to play Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, but Overly never could fit it into their schedule. Bobcats were up 13-0 midway of the second period, so it looks like, and of course they need those for point value to get into the state playoffs.
Well, what's the state ruling on that?
Don't know. They're waiting to find out.
Yeah, I mean, because that's really the answer.
Yep. Well, right now, the John Carroll Patriots on the verge of their MIAA B conference schedule. This is the last non-conference game they'll play.
We do have some rain out here.
We do.
You look at the lights, you can see it moving past a little bit.
We have to do that because did we mention we're in the booth? Where it's dry and wonderful. And the camera people are, I don't want to say it, they're on the roof where it's raining. And Alan's down there where it's raining. I really feel bad about this. Not bad enough to go outside in the rain, mind you, but I feel bad about it. Brad, tell you what, you go outside, seriously, because that way you can sacrifice for us. What do you think, Bob?
Sounds good to me.
As long as it doesn't rain tomorrow during the Susquehanna Running Festival.
It's supposed to be dry all morning.
You're right.
We'll see.
The weatherman is the only job you can have where you can be wrong 3/4 of the time and still get paid. You ever notice the weatherman says it's 10% chance of rain? So if it rains, he said, well, I told you it might. If it doesn't, he'll say, I told you it probably wouldn't.
mean, if that's the case, you might as well just say there's a 50% chance of rain every day, right?
Exactly.
It can never, ever be wrong.
Yeah. No, I am really impressed with this Florence, this horrible storm that Florence, they hit that right on the nose in terms of when it was going to hit, the speed it was going to hit at. You know, I don't know how you do that with all the variables involved with weather, but very impressive. Gianelli rolling, throwing, incomplete down that sideline.
There's a chance he had a whole wide open field ahead of him. I thought he was just going to run the football. And
27-0, 11:55 left in the game. If John Carroll were to score and have a 2-point conversion to make it 35-0, they would then have the running clock, the slaughter rule, the mercy rule, whatever you want to call it. But right now the Bobcats on their home field before their home fans.
I don't know if they'd go for 2. That might be a little much.
Salt in the wound.
Depends on how you take it.
Yeah. Well, the Bel Air fans who chanted overrated to the John Carroll team when they came on the field, probably not exactly the right cheer at this point. Punt, almost blocked. Not sure how that ball was not blocked. Looked like it went right between the hands of the Bel Air rusher. And number 48, Devon Bomar, looked like he had, for all the world, a block. I'm not sure how the punt got through his hands, but it did.
Yeah.
Bobcats will take over. 11:45 left in this contest. The Battle of Bel Air looks like, at least in the football. Yeah, you're going to see it here. Here's the replay. Now, how did that ball not get blocked? George? It defies logic.
All I can say is he must have come behind the ball. You know, because if he would have been at the ball, his hands would have obviously got it.
George Appleby is a math teacher at John Carroll. 47 years, Bob.
Must have some type of geometric positioning there to.
Now you're getting beyond me, Bob. Let's not go geometric positioning, as if you know what that means. Yeah, social studies teacher like me, you know, what do we know about math and physics and stuff like that? You can see the rain is coming down a bit more, and the cameras are getting a little inundated, not to mention our camera folks. Great job by our camera people. I hope they brought their rain jackets. Yeah. Now, that is true dedication. Alan Stingle has his raincoat, but he doesn't have it on. He put it over his camera.
He knows what's the most important thing out there.
Good point. Good point.
And he's a dedicated man.
Cameramen, you can get more of. Cameras, that's not true, Bob. It's a mean thing to say.
Hey, if he can climb up
Kilimanjaro, yeah.
Kilimanjaro, he
can stand a little rain. Way to go, Alan. I'm trying to remember the name of the camera guy. He's no longer with us, but I don't mean he's dead. I mean he's no longer with the company. But he was hit. I don't know,
Are you just opening your mouth to switch feet on this one?
Well, way to say it. Anyhow, he was hit by a runaway football player, knocked him over. He had the camera handheld in his, like on his shoulder, held the camera up, did a double back flip. Camera never hit the ground. He rolls 3 times. It was truly amazing. I was impressed. So Alan Stingle, who cares because you're not wearing a coat? Let's see you do something if a tackle comes over and bowls you over. Just kidding, Alan. Ooh, pass a little tall. Again, getting more and more difficult to throw the ball with the slick conditions out on the field. Mentioning, of course, the turf field at they have here at Bel Air and many places around the county. Makes it possible, Bob, to actually play football.
Yes.
If you think about in the old days when we had the dirt fields, I don't want to say grass fields, let's say dirt fields, you'd be like, swimming in mud by now. And they played a JV football game on this field this afternoon. Just a wonderful investment for Turf Fields. The receiver didn't look back. The pass was thrown more toward the John Carroll players. I'm not sure exactly what happened on that pattern.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like you said, he never looked back. I'm not sure he thought he was the receiver unless he was going deep.
Yeah.
And sometimes, though, you have to read a key, and if a guy across from you goes, you've got to turn and look right away because you're the hot receiver.
Yeah, that's Justin Dill, the junior wide receiver in the ball game. The intended receiver. 27-0 as you see. It's been all John Carroll. Really a close game early, 7-0. It was still 7-0 with 41 seconds left in the first half when John Carroll scored their second touchdown to go up 14-0 at the half. Wolfing has a man this time. Short game. The tackle by Isaac Myers.
That's about a 3-yard gain, and now it's 4th and...
Jacob Grew with the catch.
Oh, that was...
Isaac Myers has had a game. He has really played well.
Yes.
The entire John Carroll defense has played extremely well.
Done a really nice job here. I mean, obviously they're shutting Bel Air out, but they, other than the run in the first quarter, there hasn't been a gains of 10 or 20 yards. There's a good punt right there.
No receiver back deep, and John Carroll very smartly says, let's not take a chance on fumbling it. I mean, Bob, who knows? The loss of Hunter Ruse, obviously, physically, it meant a lot to Bel Air. Emotionally, spiritually, losing your top guy early in the ball game like that had to take a lot out of the Bobcats.
Well, it probably did, but at the same time, I think coach will turn around and say, look, we've got 40 kids on our team.
Yep.
And, we've got running backs who have to step in and take up the slack, and and so we put our best kids out there, and you give John Carroll credit. They've just done a very, very nice job. Just
feel so bad, Bob, for Hunter Roos. Think about it, your senior year, you 1,000-yard gainer last year. You're already off to a big start. You've got 203 yards in just a game and a half, since the Overly game was only less than a half, actually.
Yeah,
and you had a great start here today.
He did, and and you really root for the kid, but
pass just a bit tall, and that has to be tall to miss Brinkman, who is 6'4", they say in the program. I think he's actually taller than that. His dad was telling me that it's a 4.2 grade point average. See what the call is. George, do you have Brinkman in your class? Ask George. Do you have Austin Brinkman in your class?
In your class? You have him in your class?
No. Yep. George Appleby saying he has Gianelli, the quarterback, but not Austin Brinkman, but a 4.2 grade point average. I asked Ken where he got all that intelligence, and he said from his mother. Ken says if he has a question about math, Ken says call your mom. Which I think is a wise decision on his part. I mean, you can't fake it.
No.
My granddaughter brought some homework home the other day, and I tried to help her with it and gave up.
Wasn't much different in our house. If you want to deal with math and science, go talk to your mother.
Yep. Procedure is the call.
That's 2 penalties in a row now against John Carroll. I don't know what the first one was, but it was a big penalty, and I don't know what it was for.
Timeout is called on the field. Patriots backing up they're going the wrong way now, back to their own 5-yard line.
Well, I think they've lost a little focus here, and I think coach is bringing them together to refocus.
Yeah, let's finish this game, well. Let's not let it get away. I mean, shutouts are important. It's something you have a pride in. So you're back in your own shadow of your own goal line. You don't want to get a safety.
You don't want to put your defense in a bad position either.
Absolutely. So you don't remember the Fog Bowl in Memorial Stadium, Bob? Paul Hornig, number 5 for the Green Bay Packers. I think he scored 4 touchdowns. I'm making this up now, so I'm not sure what it was, but I never saw any of it because the cameras of those days you just couldn't see.
The one game
there you see the John Carroll fans, and they are celebrating here at Bel Air High School.
The one game I remember in Memorial Stadium was Gale Sayers and the Chicago Bears came in, and they handed him the football, and he must have run through 11 people plus about 5 of those same 11 again, and the other 5 after that on about a 60 or 70 yard touchdown run that he must have run 130 yards or 140 yards to score. One of the greatest runs I've ever seen.
Had it not been for that injured left knee, Gale Sayers, I think, would have been the all-time greatest rusher in the NFL history, but his career was cut short. By the way, most folks know that his running partner, Brian Piccolo, Brian's song movie made about him who contracted cancer and died, was a roommate, running back, teammate of Forrest Weiss, the ex-Edgewood High School.
At Wake Forest University, yeah.
At Wake Forest, yeah.
Yes.
Forrest said his job was to applaud Brian Piccolo. Every time he did something good, he would applaud.
We all have our jobs.
Brian Piccolo, who led the nation in rushing that year, he and Sayers were drafted 1-2 at the same year by the Bears.
And think of the running backs that the Bears had. Walter Payton.
Yeah.
Another of the all-time great running backs.
Good job by the Bobcats not letting it outside. Hemby looks like he may have fallen on the football. Jumps up. Hess with the tackle. Clock running down at...
now we have a 4th and a good maybe 12 yards.
John Carroll to punt it away. Bobcats would love nothing more than to get on the scoreboard. Obviously, you're thinking unless there's a miracle, we can't win this game, obviously. But let's...
But now, they should get, if they catch this football and don't put it on the ground, they should have excellent field position at this point.
Burnt in to kick the ball away. Remember, he's the rugby-style kicker. He'll catch the ball and probably run 3 or 4 yards here to the right. Bob, I have enough trouble kicking the football when I just drop it and try to kick it. How can you run at near full speed?
There's a flag on the play here.
And kick the ball.
Well, if you ever watch rugby, you see them do it all the time.
I never watch rugby.
It's an interesting sport. I don't know all the rules.
It's too brutal for me to watch.
I don't know all the rules, but it's a...
Just kill the opponent. That's basically the number 1 rule. The team who wins is the team that has a survivor.
It's what they let them do in that scrum that no one knows.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Running his mouth. It gave him the he gave him the run in the mouth sign.
You saw the official saying, that's a new, I've never seen that.
You mean that's not an official sign?
I don't think so. But it's universally understood, I think. Was it against both teams? Yeah, so it's offsetting penalties.
Well, the ball was spotted on the 40 or the 36 or 37.
Must have brought it
now
back
it's up to 32.
Yeah, ball went out of bounds. So the Bobcats are in good field position with 7:41. Well, give their fans credit. They have not left, Bob.
No.
And they have not sat down. They are a lot wetter than they were in the beginning. Rolfing, looking, throwing deep. Ball up for grabs. It's going to be diving. Is that intercepted? That looks like Brinkman. Brinkman with the dive. Well, I tell you what, Austin Brinkman has had a second half, catching the football and now intercepting it off the tipped ball.
Nice play.
Austin Brinkman never took his eye off the ball, dove for it, scooped it off the ground before it hit, and came up with the interception. Austin, a basketball player, Bob, but his dad says that football is his game.
Is that right?
Yep.
I've seen him play a little basketball, and he can play a little basketball.
He can do that.
I watched him shoot around in the gym one time and jump and run and work on some things. And
well, we've had the privilege of covering sports, throughout the years. Debbie Bossler, his mother, being around volleyball or whatever, and we've had a chance to see this young man grow, literally from, this is Gianelli who slides, from like a 7-8-year-old to now 6'4", 6'5", junior. There you see his back to us, number 19.
Exceptionally nice young man.
Oh, yeah. As I say, 4.2 grade point average student at a prep school like John Carroll, where it's a college prep program. Brett, as I tell folks, that's nothing. I was a 4.0 student also. I was 1.0 in 9th grade, 1.0 in 10th grade. See what I'm saying? By the time I got to be a senior, I was a 4.0 student, Bob.
I understand that, and an exceptional 4.0 student.
Thank you so much. My teacher said to me that I was the most trying student they had. I thought it was a compliment, Bob.
If Mr. Marzen told you that, I'm sure he meant it as a compliment.
You're the most trying student I have. I said, thank you, teacher, thank you. I don't think she meant it as a compliment. Six minutes, 30 seconds to go in the game, 27-0. As you see, the Patriots running away with this game in the Battle of Bel Air. So for 2 years in a row with the renewal of this rivalry, it's been all John Carroll. Patriots just running that clock out.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th down now, and they're going to have to punt the football. And John Carroll's emptied the bench a little bit now. They've brought some of their non-starters out to play.
John Carroll winning that game last year, 38-17 in the renewal of the rivalry, and it looks like they're going to be 27-0 victors here unless something happens untoward.
No, they've pretty much dominated the game, for a long time now. And
Dominic Burnt, B-E-R-N-D-T, Burnt. Punt, and that's really all he wanted to do was get it out of there, up to the 30-yard line, about the 28-yard line when it finally stops bouncing around.
He didn't do his rugby run that time, Don.
No, he didn't.
Maybe
No,
that's why he didn't kick it as far.
Yeah. Well, hope you've enjoyed this game. It has been our pleasure to be here in Bel Air at the Battle of Bel Air, the renewal of the John Carroll versus Bel Air rivalry.
This is the last game? No, this is not the last game for the weekend, because they'll have contests tomorrow to determine that cup.
Yes, thank you. Yes, field hockey. They're playing every varsity sport that the county offers. They will be playing.
Now, when did they play their soccer game? Is that today or tomorrow? Did they play that already or tomorrow?
I do not know the answer to that question. I'm sorry.
Because they usually play that following the field hockey game. At least they did in the past.
So all weekend long, starting Friday afternoon, they've been playing volleyball and football here tonight, and soccer, and what other sports in the fall?
Volleyball, soccer, cross country.
Maybe. I don't know that to be true, but they said every varsity sport, so I would assume that is true. What a great concept. just blessing a kid. You know, I mean, I could make funny about his last name. He's certainly no blessing to the opponents. So, but I wouldn't do that, Bob.
Well, he is to his own teammates.
Exactly. Brad says you just did, you dummy. Yeah, he is quite a player. Running around that right side, getting good yardage that time. It looked like it was 21 Sincere Montgomery, the 5'9", 160-pound senior. Third-year player. By the way, he's an all-state wrestler, is Sincere Montgomery.
Is that right?
Yes, he is. Four minutes exactly, or thereabouts, left in this contest. My partners had an issue here. You all right there, Mr. McCone?
Just had to sneeze.
We know. Yes. Oh, everyone in the whole audience knows you have to sneeze.
What?
By the way,
I took it off.
You did, yes, you did. It was very kind. We had a chance to see our good friend Bob Slagle was here from North Carolina. He came up to go to a wedding. That's his story. Actually, we think he was here to escape Florence, but saw him before the game, and good to see Bob. He looks good, well, as good as Bob could look.
And what are you trying to say?
Nothing. He looked very good. He looked like healthy and happy. And
did you see his beautiful wife?
I did not. He said that she was here, but she was staying far away from him. I don't know why. But yeah, they had to attend a wedding this weekend. Bob Slagle, Hall of Fame from the Harford County Public Schools. Bob Slagle.
Yeah, Bob was a basketball coach, an athletic director at Edgewood High School for a number of years.
And a social studies comrade of ours back in the day at Aberdeen High.
Yes.
Yeah.
Athletic director when I first took the basketball job at Aberdeen.
1997, Edgewood High School won its second state championship. First one, 1975, and the Bradley brothers. And Reeves still on his feet. 1997, Bob Slagle took his team to the state title.
Bob did a great job over the years in almost anything he did.
He did that. Yep. Very humble guy who never wanted to take a lot of credit for anything he did, but one of those truly good human beings. Kind of person you would want your kid to be a member of his class.
Great family man. He had, two exceptional daughters.
A little overthrown, looking for Montgomery. Yeah, exactly. Three minutes, 25 seconds left in the contest. 27-0 as you see the score. 7-0 at the end of one period, 14-0 at the half, and it's been all John Carroll here in the second half. Satisfying night for the John Carroll Patriots, and as you see on the look of that young man's face, not quite so satisfying if you're the Bel Air Bobcats.
No, it's been a tough night for Bel Air. I mean, it really has. You lose your best player, you play a very good opponent who really just, after that just kind of takes it to you.
Overthrown and almost intercepted. Turning a little somersault in the end zone. That was Hemby, I believe, number 3. Had it in the old bread basket, but it wouldn't stick.
Yeah, it was a shame because the wide receiver for the receiver, Cade Ketchum was open, or it was Ketchum or maybe it was number 5. Kimbrough was open in the end zone, and the ball just kind of went over his shoulder and into a crowd of white.
That slick football, hard to catch. Fourth down now, 4th and 8. Ball on the 11-yard line. Bel Air looking to try to punch it over to get the score. Whistle blows, bringing the play to a stop. Is that a timeout called? Yeah, timeout by the Bobcats. Perhaps the clock was running down. Right now I'm upset because the wind is now blowing the rain into our booth. That's not fair, Bob.
On one hand, the breeze feels good.
Yeah.
But we're getting a little misty here.
Yes. And we don't mean sad or crying. We're just getting misted upon. Calvin Skelton, the PA announcer, math teacher, I think. Or is it English? Don't know.
I don't know.
Girls basketball coach. Part of the host group here at the Bobcats Stadium, making us feel very, very welcome. So let's see if the Bobcats now can punch it across for what would be their only score of the night so far. 3 minutes, 19 seconds left. Brad, can you ask the truck how much time we have? So we have just 7 minutes left. We're finding out how much time we have left on our tape. Okay. And we have 2:15 window. Technical talk here on the air. Okay. Rolfing, rolling this way. Sets, throws. I think it's going to be too tall, and is. And that will turn the ball over to the Patriots, and again, for all intents and purposes, that would look like the shutout is going to be maintained unless...
Yeah, John Carroll just has to run the football down. Maybe has to get one first down, but...
Here you see Dave Urich, the 9th-year head coach of the Bel Air Bobcats. And I mean, folks don't understand, Bob, unless you've been a coach and been a player. You start practice on August 15th. You know, you put your heart and soul into it, and especially against your arch rival, and you don't play the way you want to play.
Any loss hurts. Some hurt more than others.
Saving tackle. Can't tell if that's 2 or 3. Yeah, that's Hemby. Michael Nichols making the saving tackle. Clock continuing to run. Inside 3 minutes now left in the game. That's Hemby again. Bob, he is a load. He is a sophomore. As you said, he's going to grow into his body and get a lot bigger. He's already got the speed and the power.
He's been fun to watch.
He has that. Now the John Carroll fans are beginning that familiar goodbye cheer. Except it's on Bel Air's home field, so I'm not sure how that works.
I guess John Carroll just leave instead of them.
Because they don't have far to
Singing,
go.
no.
Back to their home school. Of course,
Maybe.
John Carroll, like Hartford Tech or other schools that are, magnet schools, attract their students from not only Hartford County but all around the area. Still on his feet and finally taken down. Looks like a first down.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Bel Air, every time you get a first down at the high school level, the clock stops.
Yeah.
And then they spot it, and then the official blows the whistle and they start it again. and so you can get a lot more plays in.
2-minute mark now reached in the game. 27-0 as you see the John Carroll Patriots have come to the Bel Air Bobcat Field and have had their way here this evening.
They're running the same play. This time they ran it with.
Is that Hemby again?
No, that was Chukwu. Jimsy Chukwu for that time.
It has to be tough if you're the Bobcats, to continue playing hard, knowing the game is out of reach. And
you have to play to the whistle. I mean, that's a part of a learning process too, because you know, in many cases you never know. Obviously, in this case, you're not going to score 28 points in the next minute 24, but you know that pride level comes up in.
Yeah. So John Carroll goes to 3-0 as they go into their MIAA B conference schedule next week.
Well, Bel Air is taking a timeout, and maybe that's what he's telling them. Hey, you know, this game isn't over. We got to play till.
Yeah. Again, Bob, and you and I talk about it. We go back to our high school days. In my case, golly, 55 years? No, 56 years. And I still remember the games that we played, the ones that we won and the ones we lost. So that my point is that you as a young person will, as you grow older, remember these games. Only thing is your shots will be longer. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
You would have been, a better running back. Like it just sort of magnifies in your head.
Yes.
As a teammate, the things that you go through with your teammates, again, they will be your lifelong friends. People that when you get to be old that you'll still have a kinship with. Nothing like a teammate.
No. Especially if you can abuse him a little more than he can abuse you.
That's true. Flag goes down. Taunting will be the call as Chukwu goes down. A little bit of frustration there as Caleb checking Noah Alexander. Looks like he's going to be the young man who'll be flagged.
I'm not so sure about that one.
You don't think the call was justified?
I don't know. I mean, the running back was flipping over, and all he did was take his legs and help him go all the way over.
Yeah, I think maybe the standing glaring at the end, the officials perhaps thought that was over the top.
I don't know why you're glaring. You should be hiding.
58 seconds left in this contest. 27-0 as you see John Carroll. And now they're going to go into the victory formation and let this clock run out mercifully. More cheers from the John Carroll faithful. Hope you've enjoyed this game, and we certainly have enjoyed bringing it to you. The Battle of Bel Air continues tomorrow, this being a Friday night, to see which of the two teams can win the most events and end up with the Bel Air Cup.
I think they have to do it.
Soccer is tomorrow. We're told soccer is tomorrow. I'm sorry, Bob, I cut you off.
I know, they just have to do it one more time here, I believe, before or there'll be a penalty.
8 seconds, 7 seconds, and now the clock winds down as our final score here, 27-0.
Or is he just going to let it go? That's a smart move.
Yep, and that is the game, 27-zip. John Carroll wins. They go to 3-0. The Bel Air Bobcats 1 and 2. Don't go away. We'll come back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Back with you at Bel Air Bobcat Field, where the John Carroll Patriots came here tonight and just had their way. Chimchi Chukwu, you had a great ball game. Your team played well. What was the difference tonight?
The difference tonight was they game planned against the run because we've been running the ball so well.
Yeah.
And we came out passing the ball. And we beat them with passing. So as we passed, it opened up the run for me and my other running back, Roman Hemby. And we just did our thing.
Well, your sophomore, Scott Smith, I mean, he just played well. I mean, Gianelli played well as well, but he came in and did a job. That pass he made when he was rolling to his left and threw the ball on the run, think of beauty.
Yes, sir, it was. I've seen him do a lot of great things, but that was really great today.
Yeah, it really was. Now, you're over 300 yards coming into the ball game. Don't know how many you had tonight, but you're certainly off to a good start. Your team 3-0, right where you want to be.
We worked during the off season. We worked 3 days a week. We conditioned. We did all that stuff. And coming into the season, we had to be a family, and we just had to do our thing. Like last year, we lost a couple seniors coming into this year. So we had to come together, and us seniors had to lead the younger guys to do their thing because they didn't know, because most of them came from JV.
Yeah. Well, you're certainly looking good. 3-0. It's hard to be better than that.
Yes, sir.
Now you start the MIAA B conference next week against Severn.
Boys Latin.
Boys Latin. What do you think about that? Who's the team to beat there?
I think they're all the team to beat.
Yeah.
We really don't know who's good and who's not because when we go in conference, it's a different ball game.
Yep. Well, hang in there. Hang with me a second. I'm going to turn over and look up at Mr. Ben Blessing. Ben, they wanted to talk to Chuku first. I'm not sure why. You're too big. Do they know how big you are? Hey, congratulations on a great ball game. You're doing a great job with your team. What about this team? We talked about teammates and how you remember these guys the rest of your life.
It's just when you work this hard with everybody, you do all this summer conditioning, all this summer lifting, you bond with them, and then when you come out here and win, it just makes it even stronger.
Ben, we were talking about heading for Holy Cross. You're going there for academics.
Yes, sir. Playing football, and then want to get my academics done too. It's an important part of my life.
Talk to me about goals this year. What do you want to do? Go undefeated, obviously?
We're chasing the ring, always chasing the ring, you know. But my goal personally and as a team is just do the best we can. If we go out 110% each play, we should get the ring. But even if not, I can't be mad about it.
And for your whole life, you can remember that twice you played Bel Air and twice you defeated Bel Air.
That's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know you own the town.
So the Battle of Bel Air is owned by John Carroll, at least in the football part.
Oh yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Well, congratulations. Great job. Mr. Chuku, good job. Mr. Blessing, go on enjoying your teammates now. I'll invite my friend Bob coming in here and let's wrap this up, okay? A nice night here at Bel Air, especially if you happen to be John Carroll. A little bit of a rainy night, but not a bad thing. 27-0 the final score. Wrapping it up in the first period, Scott Smith threw that beautiful 50-yard pass to Malik Scott. 1:34 left in that first period. Then Smith to Dominic Burnt with 41 seconds left in the half. That made it 14-0 at the half. Then Smith hit another pass. That was a 20-yard run, I should say, by Chuku, Chimzi Chuku, the young man you just met. In the third period. Then in the fourth period, it was Hemby with a big run at 2:28 that wrapped it up. Bob, it was John Carroll. They just did what they wanted to do tonight. And I thought it was interesting that Chimzi Chuku said that he thought Bel Air game plan for the run. They went to the pass early.
Yeah, it looked that way, but John Carroll just dominated. I mean, once the Bel Air running back Haruz went down in the first quarter. Bel Air was struggling offensively to try to get with the game, and John Carroll just steady kept their pressure on both offensively and defensively, and they had some outstanding performances. The two young men that you had here, Hemby, Malik Scott did a great job. Yeah. Odu. Linebacker did a fantastic job for them. Isaac Myers did a great job. So you can start. Coach Brinkman's son did an absolutely fantastic job. So and the sophomore quarterback was outstanding. And then Gianelli came back in and played very well to finish the game. So they did a very, very nice job and really deserved to win this football game.
They really did. They came to Bel Air, did what they wanted to do, and came away with the win. Again, our final score 27-0. John Carroll wins. They go to 3-0. Bel Air is 1-2. Bob McCone, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially if you were a John Carroll fan, I'm sure it was a lot more fun. Hunter Roos, we don't yet know how serious that injury was. We do know that it's a tough break for him and for his Bel Air teammates. An outstanding player, an outstanding leader, and now we'll just have to see how quickly he can come back.
Well, we just hope he recovers quickly and comes back when he can, as healthy as he can be. So.
Thank you, Bob McCone. Thank you for tuning in. Our 25th year on the air with the Harford Cable Network on Harford County High School Sports. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Don Morrison, my partner Bob McCone. Good night, everyone.